It was the scandal no one saw coming. For more than a decade, Sister Wives was not only a show, it was a movement, a symbol, a lightning rod for controversy. From its premiere episode, millions of Americans watched, captivated by the unconventional family life of Kody Brown and his four wives. It wasn't reality television, it was love, religion, and drama, packaged in polygamy and beamed into living rooms around the nation. But now, all that was ever sacred is about to crumble, and not in secret. In court, Kody Brown, the former chiseled, grinning patriarch with golden blonde ringlets and expansive dreams of togetherness, today stands in a chilly, unyielding courthouse. Flanking him is Robyn Brown, his fourth wife, the woman he legally wed in 2014, the woman who was to be his eternal companion, the one he declared was misconstrued by the world. And yet here they are, not arm in arm at a wedding anniversary, but shoulder to shoulder, in court. What happened to Kody's platitudes of faith, sacrifice, and equality? The Brown family used to be the epitome of plural marriage done correctly. Kody espoused principles of faith, sacrifice, and equality. Each wife had her own home, her own autonomy, and allegedly, an equal measure of love. But with years passing by, the fissures opened wider. Christine was the first to leave in 2021. Her news shattered the internet. She gave the reason of emotional neglect, loneliness, and favoritism towards Robyn as the ultimate reason. Her hopeful face was now filled with quiet strength. Next was Janelle, whose relationship with Kody dissolved along lines of parenting, control, and promises broken that related to property they all were to share. Her exit was peaceful, yet sharp. First wife Meri held on longer than many anticipated. But in 2023, she too parted ways, finally accepting what viewers had realized for years. Kody was no longer in heart, spirit, or law. Her husband, with 3 wives lost, the vision of plural marriage was shattered. But that wasn't the end. As the world watched the tearful carnage, something darker was unwinding behind the cameras. Something far chillier than heartbreak, money, ownership, and legal control. Centered in it all, Coyote Pass, the crown jewel of the family. A large chunk of land in Flagstaff, Arizona, that Kody vowed would be the ultimate Brown family compound. Both wives emotionally and financially invested in it. Janelle sold her house in Vegas and liquidated savings to contribute toward the dream. But the years went by. No houses were constructed. No foundations were laid. Only one married couple had a mansion, Kody and Robyn. And then, the bombshell dropped. In early 2024, leaked court documents came to light. Christine, along with Janelle and Meri, had filed a civil complaint about the management of Coyote Pass. The filings claimed that Kody and Robyn manipulated property rights, sent money into secret accounts, and breached on-camera and off-camera verbal contracts. Basically, the wives were left broke in the property they helped to fund. Social media erupted. How could Kody do this to the women who gave him everything? Robyn's been playing the long game all along. They're not just broken, they're betrayed. Supporters who had once stood with the Browns now cried out for justice. The courtroom was not crowded with cameras, but tension hung in the air. Kody, whose conviction had once filled him with such passion, was now weary and trapped. His lengthy tirades, once recorded in confessionals, were now silent affirmatives behind his attorneys. Robyn sat demurely, braving no scowl from Christine and Janelle across the room. Whispers circulated in the gallery. She's the one who brought it all to an end. He gave up everyone for her. And they're being pulled into the truth. The judge demanded openness. Christine's lawyers asserted Kody breached tacit understandings between spiritual wives, citing decades of footage where Kody vowed equality. Kody's lawyers countered the rest, walked out on their own, and with that, abandoned any entitlement. But Christine wasn't going quietly. As court hearings got underway, the media storm hit a new high. People were clamoring for news. Every utterance, every document, every whispered glance from Robyn was analyzed on the web. Christine said little outside court one day. We were wives. We were mothers. We were business partners. We trusted him. And now, we're just trying to get back what we gave. Janelle didn't say much, but what she didn't say was eloquent. He marry? She left fans stunned when she just uttered, I should have walked away sooner. In the courtroom, Robyn was shaken. She wasn't ready for this reality. A reality where loyalty wasn't protection, and silence wasn't safety. Kody, maybe for the first time in his life, wasn't in charge. What was to be a television legacy of love, choice, and other families has now become a struggle over betrayal, property, and justice. Kody Brown lost not just his wives, but potentially everything. The man who used to sit with his family around a bonfire, discussing building on Coyote Pass and growing old together, now is facing the chilliest fire of all legal responsibility. And Robyn, the woman Kody long ago called his soulmate, she could end up the face of their ultimate collapse. Because, as the court peels back the layers of their secrets, one thing becomes crystal clear. It wasn't meant to end like this, but perhaps it always would. By early 2024, the Brown family was not a plural marriage any longer. It was a shattered empire. Christine was gone, Janelle was gone, and even Meri had finally left. All three women had done what seemed impossible only a few years before. They left Kody Brown. Now only Kody and Robyn were left, hanging on to what was left of the family name, the TV fame, and the failing property called Coyote Pass. But what they didn't know was that the true storm was yet to come. Behind the tearful confessionals and emotional exits, a quiet legal battle was brewing, one that would soon result in headlines and rock the very foundation of the Sister Wives franchise. It began with a leak. A confidential source revealed information on a civil court summons filed in Flagstaff, Arizona. The names mentioned: Kody Brown and Robyn Brown, not reality television stars, but defendants in a high-profile civil case for mismanagement of property, financial deception, and breached verbal contracts. The plaintiffs, Christine Brown and Janelle Brown, each with two different legal teams, but joined together for one purpose: to reveal how Kody and Robyn supposedly manipulated the ownership structure of Coyote Pass land and excluded the other wives from the wealth they had helped create. At the center of the suit was one breathtaking figure: $820,000 in contested assets. Coyote Pass was supposed to be the Browns' dream come true, a huge piece of land in Arizona, where every wife would construct her own house, and the family would live in harmony at last, with wide open space, clean air, and common belief. They discussed it ad nauseum on TV. They climbed the dusty hills and wept tears of expectation as Kody swished around architectural drawings in the air. But nothing was constructed over time. Years went by, no houses, no cement, no plans realized. And as the land remained idle, the Brown family itself fell apart. Emotionally, and it seems now, financially. When Christine departed in 2021, she left behind her marriage, but not her investments. She had invested in Coyote Pass, so had Janelle. Even Meri had done so in some way. But as the dust began to settle, the question arose: who really owned the land? As Christine's lawyers started sifting through county land records and property deeds, what they discovered was shocking. Several pieces of property, once titled in joint trust, had been remade and rearranged over time. By 2023, more and more of those pieces were not connected to the family as a whole, but were instead attached only to Robyn Brown's name. How? That is where it gets complicated. Lawyers contended that Kody and Robyn had exploited the 2014 court divorce from Meri as a loophole. When Kody legally married Robyn by divorcing Meri, the legal realignment of assets commenced, quietly, slowly, and in the background. Other parcels of land over the years were transferred or defaulted into Robyn's name, courtesy of the manner in which the financial documents had been lodged. Some were even bundled up in LLCs, limited liability companies, hiding them from the public eye. Janelle and Christine's teams asserted that this was no coincidence. They referred to it as a deliberate and deceptive scheme to cut the other wives out of their rightful ownership. In court documents, Christine's attorneys set forth a step-by-step timeline. 2017, 2019, family money was combined to purchase several pieces of Coyote Pass. 2019, there was an internal verbal promise that all wives would share equal rights to some of the land. 2020-2022, titles to the property gradually started transferring to Kody and Robyn's legal family. 2023, Christine officially asked for her share in writing. No answer. 2024, civil lawsuit filed. Lawyers claimed financial records were incomplete, documents were withheld, and Robyn would not answer disclosure requests. Even more damning, Christine's team discovered that a $75,000 home equity loan, obtained in 2021, had been filed with the Coyote Pass land as collateral, but the proceeds allegedly went only to Robyn's household. Kody and Robyn's lawyers struck back, charging the women had given up their claims when they left the family. They argued that the other wives had no legal claim to the land unless they were on the deed. And since Christine, Janelle and Meri had been spiritually not legally married, their claims were undefined. But the plaintiffs were prepared. Christine's attorney delivered a bombshell in court. "You don't get to appear on television for 15 seasons saying we're equal, promising each wife a home, taking money from joint accounts, and then claim they were never part of it legally." The internet exploded. Fans took sides immediately. Kody and Robyn planned this. They took advantage of the spiritual marriages. This is financial betrayal, plain and simple. Through most of the proceedings, Robyn was mum, sunglasses hiding her face, and walking past reporters with nary a peep. But according to one insider, through a closed-door mediation, Robyn burst into tears, and is said to have exclaimed, "I didn't know it would come to this. We were just trying to hold everything together." But the other wives weren't buying it. Christine shot back in public, "I trusted them. We all did. But at some point, silence becomes complicity." And Janelle, normally stoic, chimed in, "This isn't just about property, it's about promises." As of mid-2025, the civil suit remains pending, and a judge has required complete financial disclosure from Kody and Robyn's LLCs, bank accounts, and previous property deals. In case they're convicted of fraudulent transfer or financial misconduct, they might be required to divert the contested land shares. Compensate damages to Christine and Janelle. Cover the secret LLCs that own sections of Coyote Pass. But even if they succeed in court, they've already lost in the public court of opinion. The previously unassailable Kody-Robyn couple is now experiencing a full-blown reckoning, not only from their former wives, but from millions of viewers who previously thought the dream they peddled. When the court opened up their investigation into Kody and Robyn Brown's financial transaction, no one could have imagined how far down the rabbit hole they would descend. It appeared at first to be a straightforward land disagreement, a typical property dispute between erstwhile family members. But once Christine and Janelle's lawyers started requesting documents, the courtroom turned nasty. Under the veneer of spiritual marriage and common family values was another thing altogether: a money trail, a practice of secrecy, and an unfolding series of transactions that told a damning tale. The paper trail went back almost a decade, beginning just after Kody's legal divorce from Meri in 2014, and increasing after his legal marriage to Robyn later that same year. Between 2015 and 2023, financial sleuths discovered several internal transfers, all coming from what was termed joint family accounts, accounts supplied by TLC profits, jointly owned property revenue, and even family business investment, into LLCs and private accounts linked to Robyn and Kody's home only. One transfer stood out right away. $220,000 was transferred from a Brown family trust account into an LLC called Brown Future Holdings, which was registered in Robyn Brown's name as managing member. That LLC had no formal connection to the Sister Wives brand, or to any family-related business. It was a shell company, established quietly, and financed behind closed doors. When questioned about the use of the LLC, Kody's lawyers provided vague responses. It was for future family development and Robyn's legal protection. But the figures didn't deceive. That LLC had zero actual activity, except for two documented outlays: a down payment on Robyn's $900,000 Flagstaff mansion, and a $47,000 payment to a private landscape contractor, thought to have worked solely on Robyn's property. Things took a turn for the worse when loan documents were brought into court. Christine's team unearthed evidence that at least two personal loans, worth over $310,000, were obtained using the Brown family as the collateral entity. The loans were purportedly signed off while the family was still filming on a regular basis, and Sister Wives' earnings were being shared. But here's the twist: the proceeds of those loans were never redistributed. Instead, the money was spent on taking Robyn's house, including a home theater addition, buying a second SUV for Kody, clearing medical bills related only to Robyn's kids. When Janelle's attorney asked what had become of her family's share, Kody's group merely responded, "Those decisions were made based on immediate household needs." To which Janelle had a response in a statement, "We all had needs. but only one household was living like royalty. But the most emotionally charged revelation was perhaps that of child support fund management. Throughout their time as a plural family, Kody demanded that all children, no matter which mother they were with, were dealt with as one big unit. Cash went into a common fund, utilized for education, medical expenses, vacations and emergencies. But Christine's group complained that since 2019, money intended for co-parental childcare was increasingly being diverted. Rather than being spent evenly, costs were unevenly paid out for Robyn's 5 children, including private tutors, expensive orthodontics, and even a home security system. Meanwhile, Christine and Janelle's daughters Gwendolyn, Isabel, and Savannah had allegedly grappled with medical expenses and college tuition, to which no financial assistance was provided by Kody once they exited his home. In a court document, Christine's lawyer penned, Kody Brown utilized communal family resources to make one house superior to all others, while leaving other children behind. That is not spiritual leadership. That is economic favoritism. The internet lost its mind. So Robyn's children have bodyguards, and Christine's daughter had to fundraise for surgery. Kody's legacy is betrayal, not love. This isn't financial just, it's emotional manipulation. As the evidence mounted, everyone waited with bated breath for Kody Brown. Would he testify? Would he present his version of events? No, Kody declined to testify, instead providing a written statement through his lawyer. In it, he presented himself as a misunderstood spiritual leader who was trying to keep his family together as they ripped each other apart. His own words, "This case is not about dollars. It's about bruised egos. It's about women who left and now want revenge. I did my best. If I favored Robyn, it's because she stayed when no one else would." The judge remained unmoved. Indeed, his refusal to give evidence only raised further suspicion. Christine's lawyers immediately claimed Kody was avoiding responsibility, afraid of cross-examination on certain financial choices he couldn't explain. Outside of the courtroom, there was growing public backlash. Fans who previously stood by Kody, or even just endured him, now directed their outrage at him and Robyn. Social media was filled with hashtags. #Justice for Christine, #Robyn, Mansion Money, Kody did them dirty. Even unaffiliated fans, who weren't emotionally attached, began questioning the morality of spending common income on personal enrichment, particularly within a family structure premised on equal love and equal sacrifice. Robyn was silent, no words, no Facebook posts, but those close to her say she was openly tearful at the final hearing. A court witness called Robyn shaky hands, watery eyes, lips tightly compressed as the financial documents were read. But emotional response is not legal defense, and the court demanded answers. Up to this point, the court has mandated the forensic audit of all LLCs that are associated with Kody and Robyn, to entire bank account disclosure from 2015 onward. This temporary halt on Coyote Pass title transfers. Legal experts say Kody and Robyn might have to forfeit hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of assets, incur potential tax penalties, and even lose their house, if it can be determined that the property was bought with misused shared funds. However, money is not the only thing on the line here. Christine and Janelle crave closure. They crave truth. And audiences, millions of them, demand justice. Because hidden behind the shiny TLC lights and cheerful confessional shots was a more profound tale. One of domination, cover-up, and silent. And now, that tale is finally being revealed. Behind the courtroom doors, the public witnessed pages. But behind closed doors, they witnessed tears. Robyn Brown, the former tearful, soft-spoken wife, whom fans either pitied or blamed, was unraveling. The woman once synonymous with loyalty in a disintegrating plural marriage, was now the face of the financial firestorm destroying the family. In a moment characterized by insiders as raw, loud, and unlike anything we've seen from Robyn before, she finally lost. In a closed-door court hearing, when handed papers revealing her ownership of giant assets and LLCs that bypassed the other wives, she reportedly screamed, "This wasn't the plan. We were supposed to share everything." But there were no gentle edits this time. No TLC confessional room, just a cold court and colder facts. Christine's lawyer, unfazed, replied, "That's not what the papers say." And so, like magic, the emotional weight of Robyn's words collapsed under the ink writing legal truth. The court had already shown a staggering volume of paperwork, But the most incriminating wasn't about money transfers or shell companies. It was ownership certificates, land deeds, and legal filings. On each of the critical properties that had previously been talked about as family property, Robyn's name showed up. Kody's too, yes, but only in conjunction with Robyn. The Flagstaff mansion, held by Robyn and Kody as joint owner. The LLCs, holding TLC royalty payment, filed under Robyn's legal name. The future development deals on the Coyote Pass land, only Robyn and Kody signed up as signing partner. Not Meri, not Janelle, not Christine. That's the question that broke the courtroom silence. Was this a deliberate arrangement? Had Robyn and Kody gradually positioned themselves in full legal ownership of the family's joint wealth and assets? Robyn asserted that wasn't the case. In tearful testimony, she testified, "We were trying to preserve what we built. We thought signing things in one name was just neater. It was always meant to be temporary. I didn't want to leave anyone out." But Christine's lawyers weren't convinced. During their closing arguments for the day, they posed bluntly, "If it was always intended to be shared, why is it that only Robyn's name is on the deeds, the banks, and the business filing?" Years after others demanded transparency, it was a question Robyn couldn't provide an answer for. And neither could Kody. Robyn had long been depicted as Kody's emotional, the wife who remained rock solid when others questioned his power. She was the youngest, the legally wedded wife, and the one Kody spent more and more time with. Many viewers even quipped that Sister Wives was now Robyn's show. But now, facing legal examination, that intimacy wasn't romantic anymore. It was damning. As one courtroom observer pointed out, Kody sat stone-faced while Robyn crumbled. He didn't hold her hand. He didn't comfort her. He looked like a man watching his strategy fail. That is when the fans online began to rethink everything. Was Robyn really the mastermind? Or was she used as the legal face of Kody's quiet empire? That she'd been promised something by Kody that never really existed. The breakdown of emotion wasn't just a scene, it was a breakpoint in the case. Suddenly Robyn was no longer merely a participant. She was a symbol of how trust had been weaponized, how loyalty had been monetized, and how love had been codified in legalese. As soon as the news of Robyn's meltdown hit the media, social media blew up. #Robyn Breaks Down trended, and fans did not hold back. She played the long game and won, until the court intervened. "You can cry now, Robyn, but you signed on the dotted line." Kody traded Meri, Janelle, and Christine for one woman, and this is what he gets. Some of Robyn's fans came to her defense, referring to her as a pawn in Kody's grand scheme. She likely thought she was defending the family. Kody knew what he was doing, but others were merciless. She cried her way into power, and now wishes to cry her way out of responsibility. Where Robyn crumbled under stress, Christine and Janelle remained strong. Those days of fighting for Kody's attention, affection, or validation were behind them. Now they were co-plaintiffs, insisting on justice, not only for themselves, but for their kids. One touching moment was when Janelle was queried about what she was hoping would result from the lawsuit. Her response? "That the truth comes out. That my children understand what occurred, and that nobody else has to go through what we did." Believing in love, watching your sacrifices get erased on paper. Christine repeated the same sentiment in a statement to the court. It was never about being his favorite. It was about being respected. That ended the moment we were written out of everything that mattered. In court, tears don't always win, but they reveal the cracks. Robyn's breaking point revealed to the world that this wasn't only a legal issue. It was the breakdown of a system, the dismantling of a family who presented themselves as morally stronger, spiritually bonded, and profoundly loving. And while the judge handled paperwork, the public handled betrayal. Because for more than 10 years, the world saw these women have children together, move from state to state, shoot confessionals together, and share holidays in one home. And now they were sitting there seeing it all being torn apart by attorneys, bit by bit. As of the most recent hearing, Robyn's financial management is up for scrutiny. The court ordered a review of all deeds signed in her name, sets a rewriting of the original terms of the family trust, a mediation session where everyone has to sit down, confront each other, and answer what now. For Robyn, the courtroom tears were not simply about losing money. They were about losing the one thing she thought she still possessed, the notion that she and Kody were in the right, that their choices were justified. But when the papers disagree, when the other wives stand up and insist on it, when the cameras are away, and all truth is left, even Robyn can't cry her way out of what's next. It was a fall nobody ever thought would go so far. For over a decade,
Kody Brown has played the proud, almost defiant patriarch of the sister wives. He has stood as a self-declared man of faith, the head of a plural household that defies legal norms and social expectations. Through carnal battle, publics and relocation, he has always spun the tale. This is about family love and higher purpose. But now that story has been broken, not on television but in court. And no producers of reality shows can be brought in to edit. As of the late 2025, the civil suit against Kody and Robyn Brown remains ongoing, with several motions. Legal insiders say that based on current filing, they could be facing fines for misuse community funds, forged liquidation of assets, if the court determines unjust compensatory damage Janelle and Steve for mishandling of property, and if established, the potential for a criminal inquiry into fraud or deception by family LL. No criminal charges have been made as yet. Yet the paper trail of bank changes of unexplained family cash to grow. More documents arrive every, and with Christine and Janelle's attorneys drilling deeper, court obs say something big could still fall. But here's the hard truth. Even Kody and Robyn succeed in the lawsuit, the harm is already out there. What appeared once as an unorthodox, harmonious home has now been revealed as a troll-driven business empire of favoritism and technicality in law. Kody is no longer that father figure Meri trusts. He's a man with ex-wives, shattered trust and accusation. Kody is no longer just the emotion. She's the legal owner of assets intended to be shared. Her signature on the way down. Pliston, their wives. They're no longer silent, no longer obedient, no longer in the shadow. Years of silencing, gaslighting, and manipulation brought to light by this trial. Not merely emotional finance. Kody once famously declared in season 3 of Sister Wives, "We're doing this to show the world there's more than one way to love and live in." But by 2025, that unity has collapsed. The courtroom fight over dollars a trail. Each wife had a story. Now each one has legal. Christine, who left first, now looks like the warrior who saw it. Janelle, the practical one, has become the strategist who escaped the storm in time. Even Meri, although tardy in departing, has acquired a quiet strength, rebuffing even the pleas of Robyn and Kody. They're alone, residing in the formerly fitted Flagstaff mansion, now colloquial amongst fans as the Fortress Denial. Although the court's decision is yet uncertain, the court of public has made its judgment loud, and social media sites such as X, formerly TikTok, and Reddit have overflowed with comment. Christine won the war. Janelle knew it wasn't love. It was control. Robyn finally got the spotlight, but it's the kind you can't walk away from. Kody built an empire on me. Now it's all out. Comment on YouTube videos of sister wives are filled with such as, "I used to feel sorry for Robyn. Now I see she's playing a more complex game. This isn't about wives, and it's about he built a family and then tore it apart to one." Throughout it all, Kody has remained largely quiet outside of the courtroom. No social media posting, no interview press, no apology. Inside sources claim he's still claiming to be the victim, duped by the turned against and didn't appear. But experts are observing deeper. Some legal and Kody is secretly gearing up for a financial crash. Turbled personal money into legal trust. Sold off a number of ATVs and properties attached to side enterprises. Even contemplating writing a tell-all book in order to set the record straight, or take back the story. If it's true, these actions indicate that Kody is aware that the verdict won't be in his court. He's preparing for the loss, not only in court, but in history. Christine and Janelle are on to better things. Christine, remarried and resident in Utah, has utilized her platform to promote women's independence and speak out against emotional and financial abuse in religious. Janelle has debuted a financial literacy platform for women exiting plural marriages or high-control families. Even Meri has quietly developed her wellness and released cryptic blogs that fans believe are aimed at Robyn and Kody. Together, the former wives have constructed something, not one man's household at the head of a family, but an alliance support for one another and other women.